Okay, here we are, Vanguard Zombies. Yeah, this game mode that I've definitely spent a lot of time playing because it's just so fun. Yeah, so I want to talk about this game mode because it's recently came out, something that should be a hot topic, because Treyarch's making a new Zombies game. This is a brand new Zombies game, it should be a blast, but, no. And because of this, I kind of want to spend some time talking about what even the heck is going on with this. And to really do this, I want to just list off a couple of things I thought off the top of my head, type down, and go over the good and the bad things about Vanguard Zombies thus far. And since we all know how negative it is around this, let's start off with the good, to be a little happy for a little bit. One thing that I think that is pretty poggers about Vanguard Zombies is that we have dedicated servers for zombies now. Like, that's literally never been a thing before. Like, normally we play on host, which everyone knows is super cringe because what happens if the person who's host, their internet dies, or if they want to leave the game? Well, now the game has to end, and that's not very nice. But now we have dedicated servers, which is very nice. For the most part, there's a little asterisk on this that we'll come back to later, but overall it's a cool thing. Also, I'm personally a big fan of the new perk system. I think the new perk system is what Cold War's perk system should have been, where you upgrade the perk in-game, not out-of-game. That's super cringe. Like, why do we need out-of-game progression? Literally makes no sense to me. Like, zombies should and always has been an in-game progression type situation, except for Cold War and BO4. Everything else was in-game for the most part. And, this perk system is in-game. I like it. Now, it could be a little bit, like, better thought out of what the abilities that you get when you upgrade the perk in-game instead of just increasing the base ability just slightly each time. I feel like they could have been a little bit smarter about that. But, hey, it's the first time they're doing it. Maybe they'll get more in-depth in the future. Another thing is the story. I think the story thus far is pretty fun. I like the Dark Ether entities. I like the story that's going on here. I think it'd be a lot of fun going forward. And I will say this right away. This is already more intriguing to me than the Cold War story was at launch. The Cold War story at launch, I was really trying to grasp for something that interests me, but this one, right away, telling us about the Dark Ether, these entities in the Dark Ether, super fun. I love this stuff, and I think it could be something that is already could potentially be better than the Cold War story. The other thing that I mentioned there that I liked about the story were the Dark Ether entities, but I also like them not only because of their place in the story, but also the fact that they actually talk to you while you're playing game. Now, sometimes they get too talkative, like letting me know my teammate is getting hit by a zombie. I don't need to know that my teammate's going to survive 90% of the time, unless he's really bad. But for the most part, 90% of the time, he's going to survive that. So I'm not worried about him getting hit. So quit telling me my teammate's getting hit. I don't care. But in all the other cases, they tell us good story information. They crack a couple jokes here and there, and I love to hear that. It's kind of like, the dollar store version of playable characters. And finally, even though the maps are reused from campaign and multiplayer and then even older zombies maps, which we can exclude Tsunuma from this, but for the other three maps, even though they are reused from other game modes, they really don't feel like they are reused. Like, they feel like zombies maps when you're walking around them. They look like zombies maps. They feel like zombies map. The atmosphere, the music, and everything like that, which is a huge step forward from the predecessor to this, which was Outbreak, which the maps were just multiplayer maps, so there's no other way about it. It was just their multiplayer maps. We were playing zombies. The multiplayer maps was pretty cringe, to be completely honest. But this time, even though they are multiplayer maps, at least they don't feel like multiplayer maps. They have the soundtrack. They have, or at least some of the soundtrack. They have the atmosphere for it, they have the look, they have the items around it, it just looks and feels like it. And overall, the look of all these maps looks amazing. The only outlier to the maps looking amazing is probably Paris or Hotel Royale. That's the only one it looks nice, but it doesn't look zombies nice. It doesn't look zombies nice, if that makes sense. But with that, that's all the good done. So we're done with the good, which wasn't too much, that was just kind of 6 things, which not ideal. So now let's talk about what you guys are actually here for, the bad. Okay, so let's kind of quickly go through a couple of these. First, no round base, pretty cringe. No main Easter egg, pretty cringe. No side Easter eggs at all, super cringe. no wonder weapon, no server pause for co-op, and then on top of that, not even solo pause. And I know why this exists. It's because obviously we have dedicated servers now, and you know, it's hard to pause those dedicated servers because you're not pausing the hosts, and you're not pausing everybody else's games from there, or if you're on solo, you're just not pausing your own game. You have to pause the game on the server, which is much more difficult to know. The CDL knows this, and because of that, I know it's a difficult task, but it's just super cringe not being able to pause in solo, especially. And the last thing that is, at least in this category of the bad of the lacking part, is that we don't even have a Pack-Punch camo. No Pack-Punch camo. Like, if that doesn't speak volumes, I don't know what does. If we have a zombies game that doesn't have a Pack-Punch camo, like, it didn't even have a reused one, like, there's not even a reused Pack-Punch camo. We don't have one, period. Like, if that's the case, you know something's wrong. Something went wrong, dude. Somewhere we fell upon the worst timeline. That's what you need to be able to tell if you see something like that. But the thing is that I can't even say the only problems with this is just the lack of content, which could be explained away just saying, hey, Treyarch, they didn't have time to build it, which is true. They didn't, don't get me wrong. That's 99% of the problems in this game are because Treyarch was screwed over by Activision, but there are some other problems with this game. The first thing I want to say is the XP sucks for zombies. It is actually insane. I played for like 6 hours and only got to level 20. How? What? Explain to me how I only get to level 20 for playing 6 hours? What? There's people who got to level 20 in 4 or 5 multiplayer matches. Like, that's like an hour. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And it's even worse for weapon XP. Like, what's going on with weapon XP? It's so bad. Like, it's actually garbage. Like, I don't understand this. Like, didn't we go through this problem with literally every single game that you've released so far? The game always starts off with weapon XP sucking, and then we have to complain about it like a bunch of stupid kids every single year to tell you, hey, XP is bad in zombies, please fix it. And then they fix it, and it goes back to how it should have been from the start. And it just blows my mind that they do this every single year. How have you not figured out what is good XP to give in zombies? You literally have 50 years of zombies to learn from this mistake, but they keep, I don't know. This, I know it's a small thing, but oh my gosh, it's annoying when you have to complain about the same problem every single freaking year. But anyways, let's calm down a little bit. I don't want to be too angry here. Yeah, not only that, and kind of a problem that also grows upon the weapon XP problem in this is Dark Ether camo. Because you can't start working on some of these camos, or a lot of them, until you level up the gun, so it already sucks that the guns take so long to level up in zombies, so you're really just going to run to multiplayer and upgrade them there. But even when you upgrade them in multiplayer, my gosh, some of these challenges blow my mind. Like, what were they thinking? And there's a couple of them that I could touch on, but the one I want to touch on, this is kind of a mixture of two, is first the kills that you have to get with that gun, and then the Pack-Punch kills, because in Cold War, you had to get 2,500 kills with the gun and 2,500 Pack-Punch kills, which was a lot, don't get me wrong, but hey, you know, it's not that bad. But what they decided to do in this game is bump up those numbers, because they're rookie numbers, and they bumped it up by 1,500 kills to 4,000 kills. Why? Like, I don't get this. Like, why, though? Like, why? Who asked for that? Who needed that? And, okay, you know, 1,500 kills, it sucks that we have to do that much more, but hey, it's not the end of the world, right? But then you have to remember, Cold War, we had round base, and zombies, they spawn pretty fast on round base, so it honestly wasn't that big of a deal. But over here in Vanguard, we ain't got round base. We got Sorry Duran Fong, the successor to Outbreak, and zombies just don't spawn like they do in round base. And oh my gosh, getting 4,000 kills in this Sorry game mode is ridiculous to think of. Just think of getting like 4,000 kills, which each individual gun in Duran Fong, it blows my mind with both Pack-Punch and regular kills. Like, why? Just why? Why would you do this? The kills should have been lowered because we are playing Duran Fong and no round base. This literally makes no sense to me why they would pump up these numbers. It's really stupid. It's just mind-blowing that this is a thing. But what makes it even worse on top of this, with this new dumb challenge, is that the Dark Ether camo really isn't all that. Like, it really isn't. It's fine, you know, it's a cool looking camo, but 4,000 kills per gun worth? No, definitely no. So, you know, it's just like, you know, I wish it was better, but whatever, man. And that's not it. Like, also, we have the objectives that we actually have to do. Like, we only have 3. There's a holdout one where you have to hold out in a room for 3 minutes, whatever, it's fine. Then you have an escort, which it's fine, whatever. And then you have the collection one, which just kills zombies. They'll drop stones, drop the stone. Like, they're not really inspired objectives, to be completely honest. And more than that, they just aren't really that many. Like, we have 3. Like, you pretty much experienced the entire gameplay loop after 3 rounds of playing, and you probably didn't have a good time. Like, I don't even know, man. It's just like, why? Where is the gameplay loop? And I mean, I don't want to go on for much longer, but the last thing I'll mention is that the rounds just take too long. It takes like 7 hours to get to round 100. Barely, you have to play the game for an hour just to get to round 10. And it's just like why? You know, just why is the question when you look at everything. I look at everything with this and I just wonder why. What did we do to deserve this? Like, why are we hated in this way? Why does the zombies community despised? Like, what did we do to Activision to deserve this? Like, what did we do? Like, I don't remember, like, back when multiplayer was super mad at you for all the, you know, the loot boxes, the gambling that you put in it. We really didn't complain about our gobblegums. We weren't really complaining too much then. Like, we didn't do too much. The most we complained about was the game being broken in BO4, which I mean, I feel like that's justified. Like, I really don't know how that wouldn't be seen as justified to, you know, try to play a game that is broken, and BO4 was definitely broken. So if this is what this is about, that you're trying to get us back for complaining about BO4 so much, I just don't think that's fair. I really don't. So I don't know, man. And honestly, I want to leave you guys off with one final thought in this video. And what that is that, you know, I really feel like there's a good chance that Treyarch learned they were making Vanguard zombies the same time we did. Legit, that may have actually happened. Just by looking at how bare bones this is, it really does feel like this was a 2-month project. Like, they took them 2 months to learn the entire engine that isn't their own. They had to get someone else's engine, make a game in that, and from there, they just had to, like, do it in 2 months. And I just feel like that might have actually happened. Like, legit, straight up, I think that that is something that could have actually happened here, which is, like, pretty rare for me. But I feel like, honestly, this time it just really isn't Treyarch's fault. Like, most time it's not Treyarch's fault, but, you know, this Treyarch still has blame to get sometimes. But this time, I just can't find myself blaming Treyarch for this. This really just feels like an Activision thing. Like, they just screw Treyarch constantly. They're always the one they send in to save the day. They're always the one that have to go, you know, do everything last second. They're on most crunch time. They get fired faster than everybody. It's just like we look at it all the time. We saw what happened in Black Ops 4. Maybe that's Treyarch's fault for, you know, messing up their campaign and stuff like that. And then you see Cold War, you know, Sledgehammer Games is falling back in development. Look who has to come save the day. Treyarch does. And then Treyarch has to come in, even in when they release their game, after they get delayed, they get to 4 years to make the game. That Treyarch only got 2 to make Cold War. But now, even with that 4-year development game, which is obviously Sledgehammer Games this year's Vanguard, now they also have to work on their zombies mode. It's just like, why? Like, why are you putting Treyarch through this? It just doesn't make sense. But anyways, this isn't to say that I hope Vanguard sucks for its entire season. I hope it gets better, but even if it does, it's still unacceptable with what we got. But anyways, that's going to be about it for what I had to say. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. I imagine they're going to be similar to mine, but you know, maybe there's someone who disagrees. I don't know, but either way, I'm gonna head out. And if you guys enjoyed the video and you want to see videos, probably not similar to this, but you want to see more videos from me, definitely do all the normal YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, bell, share, and all the great stuff. But I'm gonna go and catch you guys next stream, video, or whatever the heck it may be, and laters, guys.